invite everyone to rise and join in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Phyllis, could we have roll call?
Cam Collier.
Here.
Craig Koshaw.
Here.
Matt Dyer.
Here.
Tyler Fulenkamp.
Here.
Wiley Sir.
Here. You were all emailed a copy of our minutes from our May 21st meeting. If you've had a chance to review those, I'd look for a motion to approve or amend them.
So moved.
Second. A motion and a second to approve the minutes from May 21st. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? First thing on the agenda tonight is an ordinance that Tim has prepared for sidewalks in downtown Decatur, I believe. Kurt, you are part of this, I think, if you want to come up. When you come up, make sure that microphone's on. I'm not sure it was on for the Board of Works. Tim, want to tell us about this, or is Kurt going to?
Kurt's going to. Basically, what we're doing is revising the code to update our requirements for the method of
Push and hold.
concrete sidewalk construction, also the types of materials that can be used. So Kurt put together the language changes, and I'll let him kind of go over that with you real quickly.
Basically, the street department, when I first came in, decided they wanted to update this ordinance. We got a little more detail from what was in the ordinance. An example, most of the sidewalks throughout town are anywhere from 3 to 4 inches thick with no reinforcement in them whatsoever. So what we did was we increased the thickness to 5 inches, and we added half-inch rebar. There's actually 2 options. You can run 2 longitudinally with rebar perpendicular every 3 feet, or you can run 3 longitudinally and go every 5 feet. We spell that exactly what the class of concrete would be. It has to be 4,000 pounds. Ready-mix concrete conforming to ASTM C94-55, and it's basically 2 pages of directions on how to do it. I mean, we've made it simple enough. My 11-year-old followed these instructions. So.
The other thing is there was a provision added with regard to enforceability of in the event of noncompliance. Basically, Kurt and I talked about this. There's nothing in our ordinance now that addresses that other than imposition of a $100 or $200 fine, which really doesn't solve the problem if it's put in incorrectly. So Kurt suggested, or after talking with Kurt, what we did is we put in a clause that says failure to build, construct, or repair a sidewalk in a manner consistent with this section shall result in rejection of the work. Rejection of the work will require removal and replacement at owner contractor's expense. So they need to be aware that if they're going to put this in, that it needs to be done properly, and they run the risk of taking it out if they don't.
All sidewalks throughout town, with the exception of internal sidewalks. Any sidewalk in the street,
Right.
Any street in town. Internals.
5-bag concrete, is that what the normal spec on 4,000 PSI, is that 5-bag concrete? Okay.
And then this would be implemented in the ordinance, the date of the ordinance?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've actually been implementing.
Well, okay.
But we need to back it up. We don't have the ability to enforce it at this point until we do.
Yeah, okay, all right. And so we're talking about work forward.
Correct.
So if there's no other questions on the part of council, then I would entertain a motion to introduce on first reading ordinance 2019-6 by short title only.
You want to do 2 and table it?
It's up to council.
I don't think it matters. I mean, it's a standard.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to place ordinance 19-6 on its first reading by short title only.
Second. Have a
Second. Oh, he's second.
I have a motion and a second to place ordinance 2019-6 on its first reading by short title only. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Tim?
Ordinance 2019-6, short title, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Decatur which amends Section 93.27 of the Decatur Code of Ordinances of 2015 as supplemented for the purpose of establishing sidewalk construction and material requirements.
Make a motion to pass ordinance 19-6 on its first reading.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for passage of ordinance 2019-6 on its first reading. Would have roll call vote.
Sam Collier.
Yes.
Craig Koshaw.
Yes.
Matt Dyer.
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp. Wiley Sir.
Yes. I'll make a motion to place ordinance 19-6 on its second reading by short title only.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for, to place ordinance 2019-6 in its second reading by short title only. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Tim?
Ordinance 2019-6, short title, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Decatur which amends Section 93.27 of the Decatur Code of Ordinances of 2015 as supplemented for the purpose of establishing sidewalk construction and material requirements.
Make a motion to pass ordinance 19-6 on its second reading.
Second. I have a motion for passage of ordinance 2019-6 on its second reading. Would have roll call vote, please.
Sam Collier.
Yes.
Craig Koshaw.
Yes.
Matt Dyer.
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp.
Yes.
Wiley Sir.
Yes. Make a motion to waive the rules and to place ordinance 2019-6 on its third reading by short title only.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to waive the rules and place 2019-6, ordinance 2019-6 in its third reading by short title only. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Tim?
Ordinance 2019-6, short title, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Decatur which amends Section 93.27 of the Decatur Code of Ordinances of 2015 as supplemented for the purpose of establishing sidewalk construction and material requirements.
Make a motion to pass ordinance 2019-6 on its third reading.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for passage of ordinance 2019-6 on its third reading. Phyllis, would have a roll call vote.
Sam Collier.
Yes.
Craig Koshaw.
Yes.
Matt Dyer.
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp.
Yes.
Wiley Sir.
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 2019-6 has been adopted. The next thing, we have a very short agenda tonight for media's sake here, to get you guys in and out of here tonight, but no, we're seriously, Jeremy's not even here to hold the, if he's out on a fire run, so. But tonight, Mike Mahan is here attending his, well, it doesn't have to be, his last, it wasn't even mandatory that you come to council meetings, but you came a lot of times. Tonight's his last night to come as a Decatur police officer. And last day of work is June 14th. And you began with the city of Decatur in what, 88?
Yes, sir.
And before that, you were a law enforcement officer in Fort Wayne, 82, something like that?
82, yeah.
Yep.
82 to the end of 87, starting 88 years.
So that's been your whole life as law enforcement. And I know that over my 16 years nearly now of working with the city, getting to know Mike, especially the last 3.5 years, I got a really good relationship with Mike. We like to pick on each other. And we have a lot of things in common, especially when it comes to old music from our generation. Graduated just a year ahead of me in high school, and so a lot of our music is very similar. His wife Donna is here tonight, and to support him. And before we move forward with anything, Mike, if you want to have the opportunity to give it to us this one last time. I told Mike beforehand I could have roasted him tonight, but I respect him too much to do that. Okay, Don, put these pictures up.
Well, I just want to say that, it's nice growing up in Decatur, where it's like a small, safe community and so forth. And, I've got enough to sell here, I'm out of here, you know what I'm saying? But, and I hear that a lot, that Decatur's a nice, safe, smallest community as far as that goes. And wasn't until I got into this and started doing this here in Decatur is that it's not happenstance that this is a safe community. It's by design. And it's the officers here in county that really work behind the scenes. 90% of what they do is seen in the papers or on the radio or anything like that. And they really keep a close eye on this. All shifts do, especially third shift. They're kind of the unsung heroes, I think, because you wouldn't believe how close they watch us county while we're all in bed, or doing whatever, working or whatever, third shift or anything. They keep a very, very close eye on what's down here. And that's, like I said, it's not by happenstance. It's by design. And I think it wasn't 1 year was even, didn't they claim this was like the safest town in Decatur?
Yeah, I think we were listed that once or in some magazine.
And I mean, I didn't know that until I really got into this, how close, and I'm sure it's been for generations, decades and decades, that's the way it works, but it really, you watch this place close, and I believe I'm leaving behind, I think, potentially one of the best police departments ever. And I've been over the years here, I've been afforded many opportunities of promotions and so forth like that. And I want to thank the current and previous council members for everything they've done for me. And it's really been an honor to work here.
Yep.
I've enjoyed it. Not like some leaving here to go to bigger ones, I left the bigger one to come here. And I know it's right choice for me in the long run.
Yep.
But worked with a bunch of good guys.
Well, you made the best of it. Like, you were a patrolman, went from patrolman to sergeant, from sergeant to lieutenant detective, from lieutenant detective to deputy chief. So, I mean, you've done it all but be the chief, and had you not been so doggone old, you might have been considered for chief here this last time around.
There's a lot of things that always been doggone old. But it really has been an honor to work under you guys.
And the one thing I'll say about Mike is that I see it from we have a very young staff right now, but whether they're the young guys or the new deputy chief, Chris Bright, or the sergeants, they all have the utmost respect for, as they call him, Uncle Mike. Yeah, I mean, he has been a mentor and a role model for everyone, including the chief on this department. So, Len, you have anything you want to say, buddy?
Well, I came on in '94, and in 1995, I went to third shift, and Mike was my sergeant. And I knew at that point he was a cop's cop. He's the one that expected us to keep the city safe at night, and then learned a lot of things from him as a sergeant. And then when I became sergeant in 2008, kind of got some input from him. And then in 2011, we became partners in detective. Really learned a lot from him on cases and how to do interviewing. And then he handed me the Detect Drug Task Force and gave me a lot of input and from his experience. And then when I got chief, what a great deputy chief to have. And this year and a half has went by so fast. He always wanted to do the grunt work. He said, I'll take care of it. You just do that. And I couldn't be blessed. I wish he stuck around a little bit more, but, he's ready to go. But what a great last year and a half for me personally. It's just been a pleasure to work. I mean, we got along great. We feed off each other. He keeps me on the straight line. We don't need to do this. We should do this. So he's been an integral part in the changes we made the last year and a half. And I don't think I would have accomplished that without his input.
Yeah, I concur, because I've been involved in a lot of those, and almost every time Lenny and I meet to talk, Mike's there with us. So, I appreciate it. So with that, before we move on, I think Mr. Baker has prepared a little something that we would like to read on your behalf, Mike.
Resolution for the council to consider adopting.
So we would need a motion to introduce Resolution 2019-2.
I'll make a motion to introduce Resolution 2019-2, you said?
Yes. A motion.
I'll second.
And a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Tim, if you would, please. This is one of those that where he won't read it real fast. He'll go a little slower than normal.
Resolution 2019-2, short title, Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Decatur, Indiana, which recognizes Michael M. Mahan for his years of public service as a law enforcement officer. Whereas Michael M. Mahan has announced his retirement effective June 14, 2019, serving as a law enforcement officer since January of 1982. And whereas Michael M. Mahan started his career as a confinement officer with the Allen County Sheriff's Department and became an Allen County Sheriff's Deputy in January of 1984. And whereas Mike joined the Decatur Police Department on January 1, 1988, and has continuously served the citizens of Decatur, Indiana since. And whereas during his career as a member of the Decatur Police Department, Mike rose in rank from patrolman to sergeant in July of 1994, to lieutenant detective in August of 1999, and to deputy chief in June of 2014. And whereas Mike also served on the Detect Drug Task Force for nearly 13 years. And whereas during his career, Mike gained the reputation of being a cop's cop, earning the respect and admiration of his fellow officers by being willing to share his experience and knowledge with younger officers to their benefit, ultimately becoming affectionately known as Uncle Mike. And whereas Mike's ability to relate to people, whether victims, suspects, informants, and even those charged with crimes, allowed him to be an asset to the department and a highly effective law enforcement officer. And whereas Mike's good nature, common sense, and approachability made him an invaluable deputy chief. And whereas the Decatur Common Council wishes to acknowledge Mike's service to our community and wishes to express its gratitude for his contributions to the city, now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Decatur, Indiana as follows. Resolved. The Common Council of the City of Decatur, Indiana finds that during his years of public service, Michael M. Mahan has been an exemplary officer and has served the City of Decatur with distinction as he rose through the ranks of the Decatur Police Department. Resolved. The Common Council of the City of Decatur, Indiana finds that Michael M. Mahan worked diligently and effectively to protect the safety of his fellow officers and all citizens of the City of Decatur. Resolved. The Common Council of the City of Decatur, Indiana finds that the citizens of the City of Decatur are indebted to Michael M. Mahan for his dedicated service as a law enforcement officer and for his willingness over the years to put his life at risk to protect others. Resolved, the members of the Common Council of the City of Decatur, Indiana hereby express their deepest gratitude to Michael M. Mahan for his leadership and service in his capacity as Decatur's Deputy Chief of Police and for his efforts to help maintain and improve the integrity and professionalism within the department. Resolved, the Common Council of the City of Decatur, Indiana hereby expresses its best wishes to Michael M. Mahan as he retires, hereby spreads this resolution among the records of Common Council, and hereby directs that a copy be delivered to Michael M. Mahan in appreciation and recognition of his outstanding public service as a member of the Decatur Police Department for over 30 years. Duly passed, adopted, and resolved by the Common Council of the City of Decatur, Indiana on this 4th day of June, 2019. Signatures for the Common Council: Kenneth L. Meyer, Mayor and Presiding Officer, and attested by Phyllis J. Whitwright, Clerk Treasurer.
Mike, congratulations. We'll sign this and we'll get you a copy here then, Mike.
Motion to adopt the
Yes,
resolution.
yeah. Could I have a motion to adopt this resolution that was 2019-2?
So moved.
Second. A motion and a second for adoption of resolution 2019-2. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The only other thing I wanted to mention this evening was, in 2017, our FEMA flood buyout application, after going through a lot of work, after having to go to Congressman Banks for some help, and then it was announced too recently that FEMA finally has approved to move forward with the 18 homes and Evergreen Assisted Living. The only thing that's standing in the way of us moving forward has been our state and local agreement from the Indiana Department of Homeland Security. And we still don't have that. But Rod Rankenberger and I last week kind of came up with our own little plan, because it's almost daily that one of us is getting contacted by one of the affected homeowners wanting to know what the latest is. And it's when we contacted the Indiana Department of Homeland Security, the answer was kind of somewhat predictable. I mean, we're having a spring with all kinds of rain and flooding and et cetera, and then a couple of months ago we had the federal government shut down, which has delayed everything. So everything's just kind of on the back burner, and they told us that we likely won't have that state and local agreement until sometime later this month or early July. However, with the stories that we shared with them, they went ahead and gave us the okay to proceed with moving forward with title search and appraisals on those 18 homes. So I'm happy to announce that Rod has written up a letter to all the 18 homeowners. Those letters are going out notifying them that we may commence implementation of the buyout grant. And so we're finally at that step where we're moving forward on the 2017 flood buyout homes. I'm not sure if Jeremy was here. He might tell us that I think since there's 18 of them, we've never done 18 in 1 year, that we may ultimately get some of them done this year, maybe half this year and half of them.
I think it's over 3 years period. We can take them out.
I don't know if it's 3 years, because we have a 2018 application also that's in there for 6 homes.
But I think the 17 is for half of them, and then the 18 is for the other half.
No.
No?
No, this is for
then
18.
no.
This is for
Oh,
18.
is it for 18?
Yeah. So, anyhow, I'm happy to report that we're to a point where we're able to move on and actually start the next process. Tim started the title search process, and so that's good news, finally. That's all I have. I was going to make mention of the John Lingenfelder Memorial service that's being planned for this Friday by the Indiana Racing Memorial Association, but I saw that on the front page of tonight's newspaper, so I don't think I need to mention it. I was hoping to mention it to get a little publicity, but they've already got it. But it's very cool that John Lingenfelder is being honored by the Indiana Racing Memorial Association. There's going to be some kind of a state proclamation as well as a local mayor's proclamation that Matt Dyer is going to read on my behalf Friday. The service, or whatever you want to call this, the unveiling of this memorial is going to be at Lingenfelder Performance Engine Corp. headquarters on Winchester Road at 11 a.m. Friday, June 7th. That's this Friday. So if anyone can make it out for that, that'd be kind of a cool little event. Probably won't last long. That's all I have. I'm going to go around to the department heads here and see if there's anything that is pressing with the department heads. Les?
I attended the Safety Park board meeting last night, and I just wanted to convey to City Council and Mayor and the Clerk Treasurer of how the transition from a North Adams property to a city property, how well that went, and it's really been a good relationship there, and things continue to move along out there with the Survival Lighthouse bicycle program, safety program, and the pedestrian safety, and with the arrangement and the way everything went. It's really helping Safety Park to stretch their United Way dollars to put some money back into the facility, and a nice little shot from Washington Township also. Got a lot of things taken care of and up to snuff now, and we're 20 years into this next school year will be the 20th year that fourth graders have went through Survival Life Bicycle safety and pet safety has been longer than that. But it doesn't seem like it's been that long. But a lot of kids, thousands of kids have went through all of those stages, and I think the city and the Parks Department make it possible for that to continue on for a lot more years. So they just really appreciate the City Council and the City of Decatur's initiative to keep things going.
And I appreciate Jeff Sheets, Mike Pettibone. Is it Janet Torson? Is she part of that?
Janet is starting to step back a little bit. She said she wasn't at the meeting last night, but she didn't want to do the trick or treat this upcoming year, and she'd like to step back a little. But we have a couple retired North Adams teachers that want to volunteer and re-engage. Kindergarten teacher was there last night. I think we're getting some young people involved and be able to give Janet a break. Janet's been in that, and served Dr. Springer, and Wellman initiated the whole thing. So.
Well, like I said, I know Jeff and Mike both really put their heart and soul into that. They're all in on it.
It
And
wouldn't be for Jeff and the scheduling of all the public schools and the privates. It wouldn't go down. So,
okay.
yeah.
Anything else? Kevin?
Water main on High Street should begin in the next couple of weeks. Once they finish that up, they'll move on to the main extension on 600 North to the new water plant, which that should begin in the next month or so, working down on that. Congrats, Mike.
How long do they anticipate the High Street water main?
That should be 120 days, so about 4 months.
And it starts from where and goes to where on High Street?
Grant Street to, I don't know the crossing street, just past Johnson's house on the way to past the KFC.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, what's that? Under that ditch. Under the ditch, yeah.
Okay.
And it would be 4 months to get that and 600 north done. So.
And it's strictly water main?
Water main.
Okay. And that's going to be, it's not in the road, right? It's all along the edge of the road?
It'll be a little bit of both.
A little bit of both?
Board the whole way down High Street. 600 will be board as well for the most part.
Okay.
So some will be in the easement, some will be in the street.
Okay. Any questions from the media for him on the water main?
When they started?
Mid-June. I don't have an exact date, but yeah, within the next couple weeks, we'll see crews out there.
Okay. Kurt?
Good.
Don?
Just a quick update on PS 011. That's the screen that's up, shows what has been cleaned since last time we talked. So we're from 7th to 4th Street. I'm a little behind on Camryn because we've been dealing with some flooding issues this last week. Trying to put some fires out there, but we're moving along with the cleaning portion of it. Biggest thing I'd like to talk about is the grass clippings that seems like we're getting a lot more of them blowed into the street. 90% of the flooding issues we had this last flash flood, I sucked out 2 or 3 foot of grass in that fresh grass that has been blowed out into the street. So if you can keep from doing it, please try to keep it in your yards. It makes a big difference. The back truck needs to be doing our sanitary sewers, not backing up on storms. But we got to do both. I realize that. We lost a week cleaning storm sewers.
Okay. Update on deconstruction of Hannah Nutman?
We took poles down today. We've got one more to go in the section we're doing, which is the west end. We have to protect the power lines to get the last one down. It was a challenge. It was some big poles. They were tall. Down on the ground all but one. So, doing
Okay.
that, waiting on plumbing then after that.
Can I ask a question there on the, I've had many comments on the trees. Is that for utility work?
What's that?
We've removed a lot of trees. from
Because
being
the
up
park's gonna be where the trees were.
exactly on top of it.
The removal of the trees actually were because of the difference in grade that's going to be out there.
It's going to be raised. Okay.
It's going to be completely, I mean, once you see the dirt move, you'll understand, but I mean, most of them were cottonwood trees, nasty, dirty trees that needed to come down.
Literally not good for anything, not burning or
Now,
woodworking or
he gave them
anything.
away as pallet lumber,
Yeah.
and he hasn't came and got them yet, so I hope he does. Right now, there's video playing of the actual light removal. One of them. You can see how high up they are. Our cherry picker is about as high as he can get too. The pole's been in there a long time.
Who's on that machine?
Pickaway repair, that's Ed Spangler.
Oh, okay.
Helping us out with that. That is basically what we did today, the removal. Yeah, they're all on the ground, so we'll be hauling them out in the next day or two to put them in storage
Yeah,
back at our...
no, light poles. And we're hoping to reuse some of them to light some of the fields.
They were, the men's field, they were really in bad shape when we got them down. We didn't realize...
Well, those are probably the oldest ones, weren't they?
Yeah, how weathered they were. Most of them were missing the glass out of them. We didn't even realize that until you got them on the ground. But the field closest to Washington will be...
Jim Miller?
Yeah, those lights were about new. They weren't new, but they're really nice shape.
Yeah.
So,
I drove out there today. Actually, some of the poles still got a nice green cast to them from the CCA. They're not even grayed yet, so.
yeah. Yeah.
Poles were in pretty good condition.
Yeah, only one of them actually broke that we took down, so that was on the men's field.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's moving along. Looks different out there.
Looks a lot different.
Anything else that you can cover for Jeremy that he might have wanted to cover?
He said he didn't really have anything tonight that he would talk about, so
Okay.
unless somebody's got questions about anything, we'll try.
Okay. Thank you.
We're really busy with trying to get everything done.
I know you are.
Yeah. We were out late the other night during the flash flood. We had full crews out there till 1:30 in the morning,
Yep.
cleaning the grates off.
Yeah. It's one of those things where nobody knows that you guys are out there. I knew only because Jeremy included me in the texts.
We literally were texting back and forth, waiting for the tornadoes to go through, and
Yeah.
as soon as they went through, Tennessee emails, we went out.
Yeah, Jeremy sent out a text. He goes, Don, you take this side of town. Matt, you take this side of town. Marty, you take this side. Joe, you take this side. I'm going to cover this area. And everybody, and then next thing you know, you get a report from one of them, a text that, this street's underwater, blah, blah, blah. So, like I said, we're all home sleeping, but they're out there.
And like I said, most of it was grass clippings and the maple trees, their little helicopter things.
Those things are
It's
nasty.
unreal how much water those will hold back.
Yep, yep.
Break them off and get them going again, and in a few minutes, the street's drained.
We got a great public works team. Thank all those guys
The
for.
public's been really pretty good about trying to get those inlets clean. You drive around, they throw it up on the sidewalk when the guys pick up yard waste, they're grabbing them, getting rid of it, so.
Yep. Mr. Carbach, you have anything?
Yeah, I'd like to give congratulations to Mike also. I worked on the Board of Works for 12 years now, and I've had to work with him, and sometimes it's been good, and other times it's been terrible. And
Do you want to elaborate on any of those terrible times?
I'm fibbing on that. No, he's actually, I actually enjoyed working with him, and he's been truly a good person and actually a good friend to me. He's covered my back a couple times, which is kind of funny. When he heard my name come across the radio, he ran out to make sure I was okay, so, which is nice. But no, good job, buddy, and good luck, and may the future bless you.
May every day be Saturday from here on. Melissa?
A reminder that next Friday, June 14th, is the 8th annual unveiling of the Decatur Sculpture Tour. It's going to be the usual setup at 6 o'clock. We'll meet at the courthouse corner, and we'll do the tour and visit all the new sculptures, so make sure that's on everybody's calendar. On Thursday this week, we've been asked to present at the Indiana Philanthropy Alliance Growing Healthy Communities Conference. They've invited us to come and talk about the Madison Street Plaza and how that's made our community better. So we're grateful to be able to share that, and that's going to be in Fort Wayne. The Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority, which is the agency that helps us with the Patronicity program, we have an official campaign date for our Patronicity program for Hannah Park. Those dates are June 19th through August 18th. And again, we'll have that amount of time. If we raise $50,000 locally, they will match us with $50,000. So the official press release will come on June 19th from the Lieutenant Governor's office announcing that we are good to go. So think about what you can donate to Hannah Nutman and start to think about those commitments so that we can get to our $50,000 goal. And then the last thing I have is I'd like to introduce everybody to Brielle Adams. Brielle is the new director of the Community Engagement Center, which is the first floor of the loft.
Or whatever it's called.
Or whatever it will be called. Brielle and I kind of had a powwow yesterday, and we talked about what her immediate tasks would be, and we're going to check in with each other about once a week and see what's going on, but we're grateful to have Brielle on board and all the cool stuff that's going to start happening in the first floor.
Okay. Welcome aboard, Brielle. Lenny, do you have anything?
Just thank the council and Tim for that nice ordinance for Mike.
Proclamation.
Richly deserved.
Resolution. Excuse me. Resolution.
Richly deserved. He deserves it. Next Thursday, Detective Wright will be sworn in as my new deputy chief, and then also the new officer, Andrew Elwell, next Thursday at 3 o'clock. So he's ready to go.
Yep. Good deal. Council members, anything?
Just like to congratulate Mike. Thank you for all of those years of service, and you have a great future ahead of you now.
Can I also say there are enough thanks is given to the council members and the board of works and the mayor here. The last year and a half where Lenny was in here, the PD has made leaps and bounds as far as bringing us to the 21st century of the police department. And I think you all know that. You were all helpful and instrumental in that. And it's just amazing. In 1 year, I sat back and looked at all he did with your help. And it was just amazing. Year and a half I worked with him, I'm sure it was easier for me than it was for him in the end. And much faster for me too, I think. But I appreciate what he's done and how you guys backed us up too. That was awesome. And I don't have to kiss her butt here. No, I'm gone. I'm just saying, this I think is working very well here, and I'm confident that Chris Bright is the choice. I really do feel that way. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, congratulations once again, Mike, and thanks so much for your help. Summer concert series for Main Street, the Chamber for covering our backs, even with additional officers on there. I know you stepped out there a few times. And then maybe when you're getting ready to pull out of the PD, you'd stick around for a couple minutes to help get event applications and forms signed so we could get them in on a deadline. Thank you, man. That was really cool of you to go above and beyond. I certainly appreciate that. The other thing I was going to quickly say was we've got a farmer's market Thursday afternoon off of First Street, mainly probably going to be on the east end of the plaza because we've got some logistic issues worked out with the electricity. The food vendors will be between 2nd and 3rd on the north side of the courthouse. We'll be setting up about 5 p.m. Show starts at 7 p.m. We'll be doing sound check and things like that. I talked to Jeremy about it and talked to most of the vendors down through here that are open past 5 o'clock if all possible. With your blessing, I'd like to block off 2nd and Monroe at about 5 till 7 or 7 o'clock to where those could get parked in here and utilize the 2nd Street space, and then possibly block it off at the Court Street on the north side of the courthouse, or south side of the courthouse, to where we'd be safer with traffic. Discussed it with a lot of, Icorns and anybody that was open after 5 p.m., and they thought 7 or 5 till, something like that would be pretty cordial. A blessing from you guys if that'd be possible.
So completely close second between Monroe and
Let
Court.
people get an opportunity
After-
to park on Second between
Yeah.
6 and 7, but then shut it off for foot traffic, because I got a feeling we're going to have a pretty good crowd.
Yeah, I think you're right. What time would you want to close it, you think? Just kind of play it by ear?
5 to 7. I'm going to have police officers here. I have security coming at about 6:45. I don't know, Lenny, you might show up early.
And Lenny, if we can have a police car sitting down there with its lights on like you've done before,
Yeah, Officer Rumschlag and myself are doing that.
and then
We'll have slots.
those 2 yield to pedestrian signs, put them right out in the middle of the street. You know what I'm saying? In the middle of the lanes.
I think Jeremy has them. I don't have those at PD.
No, they're down there right now, but they're setting over on the east side of the street. Just move them out into the street. Yeah. So,
We've got a chamber golf outing on Friday, and thanks for all the people that's gotten signed up, and the sponsors, the whole sponsors. But we got a pretty big week coming up.
it's going to be a busy June, yeah. Matt, anything?
Just, you'll be missed, Mike. Thank you very much.
Cameron?
Just thank you very much, and I always appreciated your, from my perspective, calm demeanor. Others might say something different, but it was always, I think, just steady and logical and responsible, and I just appreciated having those conversations.
Tyler?
Thanks, Mike. I said it all. I don't have much words to that.
It wasn't fair letting you go last. Phyllis, anything?
Enjoy your retirement, I know you will.
Mr. Baker?
Yeah, I've known Mike for a long time, and many years ago, in the field where I was defending people that were charged, his and my paths crossed a few times. But I have to say that I was always impressed with Mike. He was straightforward, and I always felt was very respectful of people. And that spoke very highly about our police department, and Mike, you were a real tribute to that. So, yeah.
Appreciate it. Anything from the public?
Well, I was under the impression we was going to talk about parking.
Not tonight.
Any idea when?
Excuse me?
Any idea when?
No.
Okay.
What do you want to talk about, Corey?
Well, 2 weeks ago at the Board of Works meeting, they talked about putting some parking between Monroe Street and Masters, and that got shelved.
Yeah, it was my feeling that we made that decision a little too quickly. You know, when we decided on streetscaping out front, it took Main Street 3 different meetings to come in before council to get approval, and this was brought up, and in 10 minutes we made a decision, and I just thought we needed to put a little more thought into it. I'm not saying it won't happen. Very likely could happen. Maybe not the whole lot, but again, just hang in there, be patient. You know, no decision was made to be.
I'll just lease my lot. I mean, it is what it is. So.
Yeah, you have that right. So, anything else from the public tonight? If not, I would look for a motion to pay the claims.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion to pay the claims and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all for coming.